Hello,
Oh, no.
everybody.
Did you really just? Oh, wait. We're alive now. I'm gonna be quiet.
We are live right this very moment. Person who's playing Final Fantasy XIV.
I'm so
I
sorry.
can't believe it's not Joshy.
You should know what you signed up
As soon as this cutscene is done, I will be out of
Yoshi
here.
you can get.
You could be like me and be too busy to play video games.
Oh my god.
As soon as we are out of this cutscene, I'm out of here.
Why would I ever want to be too busy to play video games
Too
when I could
busy
be playing
to play
video
video
games?
Yes,
no
you will have
thanks.
a
I would rather
feeling-
die.
Feeling life.
Mm-hmm.
You just will
Oh.
be behind on the cultural zeitgeist.
Making the screen as minimal as possible.
While I'm at it.
Those cutscenes, like I've seen you guys be in there
This
for like 10
This
minutes.
just happens to be a cutscene.
Sometimes story
Anyway.
scenes can be pretty long.
I
Are
do
those,
need to
like,
update
MGS4
the.
level?
I think I got this.
Hmm.
Alright. God.
Here, let me
I'm so sorry,
fucking.
Orange.
My cat is
fine.
cleaning her ass right now.
I
I had
don't
to
think
see
I've-
this. You all have to know this.
I don't think I've ever had a 45-minute cutscene, but there have been like some 15, 20-minute long ones at like really
played Metal
important
Gear
story
Solid?
moments.
Cool. I had to
Alright.
update. I had to update the Catboy counter just to make sure that we were nice and accurate. Thankfully,
Oh,
Close are we
How
now?
many, yeah.
we are
Oh, damn.
89 away.
89. We're
89.
almost
You mean
there.
We are not
Oh no, we
89
are
away.
11. We are 11 away.
people.
11
Yeah.
people. And if-
Ooh.
And if you and 11 of your friends
sorry.
like to no, sorry, that was my bad. I'm fucking it up really quickly.
Yeah,
Let me
you
just
and 9 of your friends.
if you have 11 friends and you want to tell them, "Hey, come check out this stream. We're streaming some dumb bullshit." Then just force their hand and press the follow button.
Yeah.
Go to your friend's computer.
Yeah.
My mouth
Don't
is a
do that.
cutscene. Let's get into it.
Just press, just press the follow button. You
this-
don't even need to watch the streams. You can mute the notifications.
The
Just
stream?
press the
Mhm.
follow button.
Yeah.
Just
Alright.
all right.
How's your Streamlabs?
The stream is brought to you by Ray's Machinima in the Virtual End Linkin Park Half-Life 2 music video.
Go to your
Alright.
favorite friend's computer, press the follow button. Then go to your second favorite friend's computer and press the follow button and keep going until the person you hate most.
And then steal your parents' credit card. Give us money.
Alright. Don't actually do that. I don't know what if Twitch likes when you say that, thinks it as a joke.
Twitch, that was a joke.
Twitch, I really want to accept.
Alright.
Did he just get obliterated?
Alrighty then. Okay.
My
Okay.
world, time
Alright.
for a story,
Mhm.
masters.
All right. If you are
Um,
not voice acting, then please mute up because we are going to get started.
The Whitehead girl's persistent letters did not improve anything, but simply stroked the flames of misunderstanding. This continued for several months. Though outside, the sun shone with a gentle warmth of spring, and the cold bitter winds of winter still relentlessly blew between Yukopo and his wife. Not allowed to leave her shed, never receiving a reply to her letters, the white-haired girl's only source of information was Maria. Week after week, her circumstances remained the same, but something else was beginning to show signs of change. Her mental state.
Pointless, madam. You're only wasting your time at this point. I saw him throw your letter into the fireplace. He's not going to read anything you write, no matter how much of your soul you pour into it. He cares more about money and work than love. That's the kind of man he is. Just give up and file for divorce already.
No. I will get through to him. Everything will go back to normal. I have faith. All my letters may go up in flames, but my faith will not be lost with them. As long as I keep writing. Eventually, I will get through to him. So I cannot stop. I cannot.
You have any idea what he says about you, madam? Jacopo doesn't trust you in the slightest. He goes around calling you a witch. A man-eating devil woman. It's awful. There's no one as pure and as beautiful as you.
He says I am a witch.
Listen to me, madam. He never for a second actually loved you. He just wanted the influence attached to your name. Wanted to mingle with the upper class. He used you.
But last year, when we went out together, he gave me the Fennecis will at the photography shop. He had the owner make it especially for me.
He was just trying to win your favor. If he really cared for you, he wouldn't have gotten you a paper toy. He would have gotten you something like a ring or a necklace or some perfume, a nice dress. Something women really like. Has he ever given you anything like that?
He doesn't have any feelings for me.
I'm sorry. I just couldn't stand to see you going through this, but I don't know where to shut my fat trap. I went too far. The last thing I need to be done is hurting you worse. You know, for everything I've said, your unwavering dedication really is impressing, madam. I know I've suggested you get a divorce, but to be honest, part of me kinda doesn't actually want you to split up. Despite knowing you staying with him is just causing you pain. You've made it this far. I'd like to see you make it all the way. Maybe you actually will start paying attention. Your sweetness can melt even his heart of steel.
Yes, you're right. I will keep waiting. Keep writing. And I will not divorce him.
Yeah, alright.
So please, keep delivering my letters to him. You're my only remaining connection to the outside world. Oh, yes, one more thing. If it's not too much trouble, could you tell me how he's been and what he's been doing lately? I do not have much else to write about. So, if I could relieve him of some of his work-related stress. I am his wife, after all. I should be able to do that much for him. I am his wife. Her dedication to him was perhaps closer to an obsession. But she did not seem to be conscientious of the fact that her obsession was killing her. She was visibly losing weight, and her spirit was breaking down. It is said that emotions fade with time, but the opposite can also be true. The act of waiting, of fervently believing for so many months despite the object of one's affections not returning them, can tear apart a person's heart, crush their soul, and shatter their spirit. No matter how radiant, how thick-skinned they may be. With enough time, it will wear anyone down. No one is immune.
It's pointless, Jacopo. Wait all you want. You won't get her back. If she's going to be writing letters, she could at least write one for you. She looks so pure, pretty as an angel. But God Almighty, is it only how she looks? You've changed a bit.
What have I?
The all you would be yelling and screaming, chomping at the bit to go storming in on the madam. Now you just go quiet.
I'm just a little tired.
You could break it off then.
What?
You've already made a name for yourself in high society. Nobody's gonna suddenly start ignoring you. You've more than put your family name to good use. To put it in your own words, it's no longer necessary. This isn't something I really want to say. But the madam has never liked you. She was married off to a total stranger and forced to leave her home. I'm sure she felt very alone. And so she sought the companionship of other men. Anyone who wasn't you probably seemed quite attractive to her. So, without getting violent or threatening to kill her or anything, just end it already, quietly and without a fuss. It'll be easy for you that way.
I cannot.
Because you still love her? That's wonderful, Jacopo. After everything, you still love her. That's just blind, slavish devotion at this point.
Perhaps it's a foolish, unhealthy obsession, but I still do not wish to sever ties with her. I cannot get the image of her smile out of my head. The look of utter elation on her face as she looked through the fantastico. Those captivating eyes beneath the veil at our wedding. I will never, for as long as I live, forget those sights.
Well, I'm surprised. You're a sentimental one. Well, I guess you always have been kind of mushy, haven't you? True to your heart, despite how you may look. That's not a bad thing, though, in my book. There's nothing but pain in it for you now, but all you can do is wait until she stops writing. But don't worry, if you need to let off some steam, I'm all ears. I'll be here for you until she breaks it off with the other men.
No, that will not be necessary.
What?
I know very well that things cannot continue as they are forever. I knew it from the beginning and still couldn't do anything. This time I'm planning on facing her myself.
You serious, Jacopo?
Yes. I've relied on you for too long. I was afraid of what I might do to her. I didn't want anyone to find out about that my wife was being unfaithful. And I thought the best way to ensure that was by locking her up away from anyone else. But the situation is not going to improve unless I do something. If I allow things to continue as they are, sooner or later word of her infidelity will leak. So before that happens, I must face her myself. I must do something.
It's probably best if you didn't. I'll tell her anything you want. Make sure things start improving.
I appreciate everything you've done. And I apologize for getting you involved in our troubles. But I'm gonna end it now. No, I must put an end to it. This is a problem between me and her.
You might get violent again if you go see her face to face.
Yes, I might. I might do something that would look rather bad for me. But it's reached a point where until the two of us can face up to each other, it's never going to go away. It took me far too long. I wasted too much time trying to find my resolve.
I see. You'll need a way to break the ice then.
Break the ice?
Right. If you got some convenient excuse to talk to her, it'll reduce some tension and make it easier to bring up what you need to bring up, right? Here's an idea. The transcontinental railroad you've been funding. It's supposed to be opening up pretty soon, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
There'll be a message via telegraph when it happens, right? You can ask her to be there to hear it. And then you can invite her to ride the first train. You've put your heart and soul into this project and it's finally being realized. It's going to be an amazing day for you, and a day like that's ripe for more good things to happen. It's going to be the accomplishment of a lifetime. Don't look so down in the dumps. You're sending trains across this massive continent, carrying on the people of this country's dreams. Who says you can't stick a dream of your own on it too?
Right. Yes, you have a point. A railroad that spans from coast to coast. She's a sickly girl, which makes long trips difficult. But this new rail system should make them much less straining. It would allow me to show her the world.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm getting excited myself. It'll go great, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Oh god, my fucking sight. Seriously, they're a goddamn riot. The both of them. They keep on trusting me and keep on getting hurt. They don't have to be going through any of this. Oh my god, Maria, you're terrible. These people call me the Holy Mother. I bet the real Mary's rolling in her fucking grave. Now, I must say, I wasn't expecting you to make a movie, Jacopo. A shame that the screaming loser paralyzed by insecurity is a better role for you. Did you end up figuring it out though? Tough shit. Doesn't hurt anything, just takes a bit of my fun. I don't understand why you sound infatuated with this railroad. I mean, I do sort of get romanticizing steel, but My kind of steals a little smaller scale. Anyway, I suppose it's about time to get things moving. No matter how this plays out, you will not have a happy ending, Jacopo. You're going to get a real taste of just how much I despise you. Oh, fuck.
Maria. Oh,
Okay.
there you are.
What is it? I'm on break right now.
You were assigned to clean the cellar today, weren't you? Well, headmaid's saying that it hasn't been done yet.
What? I did clean it. Just a casual once-over, but hey.
Well, do it again, and do it right this time. Because if you don't, it's gonna fall on me.
And that's supposed to make me give a damn?
I mean it. You take care of it. You get enough special treatment as it is.
Yeah, right. I had it the first time. I'll take care of it.
Don't you forget it. Oh, for God's sake, why do I have to be the one to tell her?
Is she gone? Ugh, what a pain. Who cares if the damn cellar is clean? Not like anyone's bringing guests down there. Yeesh. I guess I should take care of it. Better than a tongue lashing by the head maid. God, why did I have to be a maid anyway? What a dank place. Ugh, it's so dark and humid down here. Makes me feel gross. Hmm? Someone there? Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? Getting further in. Wow, seriously dusty back here. Who was supposed to clean this last week? Well, I'll clean the whole thing next time, damn it. Just makes my job harder. Disgusting. Ugh, damn cobwebs. Oh God. Oh dear God. I did not want to clean this. How? For God's sake, stack this stuff properly. Now I've got to fix this whole mess. For the love of... What's this? Something carved into the floor? Never noticed this before. Someone get bored one day? What do we have here? It's mostly illegible. Let's see. It's not written in English, but my native language. But it's not modern. It's really archaic. Why on earth would an old form of my country's language be carved into the floor of a mansion built here in the New World? Most of it is illegible. They can make out one section. Our lives. Our life shall be forfeit to the witch's curse. Nevertheless, we must lay bare those with sin upon their souls, for the redemption of those whom are pure. Should you mean not to dispel your curse, we implore of you, O witch, to mark with it only their bloodlines, the blood of the sinners, flows through those who dwell within this house, but not I. What in the... A witch? That's crazy. That's crazy. But why does the handwriting look like mine? It's just coincidentally similar. No one's handwriting is perfectly unique after all. Why am I so sweaty? It's not a thaw down here. Nope. Forget it. Didn't see a thing. Not a chance it's real. Just a Texas prank. This is silly. There's something in this box. Is it a painting? Has it always been there? Huh? White hair, fair skin. Is this the madam? But then, why is the face all torn up? Their clothes really old-fashioned. Everything seems worn and faded too. Something about it feels off. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's very creepy. Unsettling. They're writing on the floor and he's painting. What is with this house? It's just a painting. Nothing to get weirded out over. I bet I know what happened. Jacob probably slashed it in a fit of jealousy. He's a simple man. Saying this probably wouldn't put him in the best mood.
What was that? Is someone there? The door is open? Nobody's there. What's this? A painting? Who could have left it here? Is that me? Why, but my face has been cut. No. Why would someone have this painted? Just to do this? Who would do such a thing? You're
That maybe.
You're like a witch, my dear. Like a demon. Your very presence brings misfortune upon others. You're cursed. No, I'm not. I'm not. Was it you, Jacopo? Did you have this painted so you could destroy it? Do you really despise me to that extent? Why? Why do you... What did I ever do to make you hate me so? Why? Why? I, I, all I'm doing is waiting for you.
Worthless tramp. Those ears only for show. This house has no need of a garden. I always thought you had at least taste. Silence. It's all your fault, every last thing. And say goodbye to your freedom. I'll kill you.
Does the mere act of waiting impose upon you? Does my mere presence pervert you? Would it be better if I were gone? Would it be better if I left this mansion? If I left you? I don't think I can wait much longer. There's no end in sight. I can't take it any. There's no end. No. I will set a deadline for when I give up waiting. When the project you pour your heart and soul into is complete. When the railroad opens, I will be finished waiting. And then it's over. The Pacific Railroad's last spike ceremony was drawing nearer by the day. That day was, coincidentally, the deadline the two of them had set for themselves. Jacopo to confront his wife and the white-haired girl to wait for him. And as that day approached, she continued to write letters. She wrote the letters purely by force of habit, despite having been worn visibly thin. I expect that she could not stop, that the act of writing was all that kept her from going mad. By focusing her attention on another person through her letters, she was able to maintain a grip on herself. But that day would put an end to her suffering and despair. When the railroad was completed, all their misunderstandings would be cleared up. They would return to the smiling, happy couple they had been when they were first married. The harsh winter would finally come to a close, melting away into the past and allowing them to step into the future. With constant prayer in my heart, I impatiently awaited the railroad's opening ceremony. I do not, after all, wish anyone to fall into any kind of misfortune. And that goes for you as well, Master. Now, Master, the door is soon to be shut upon this era. Are you prepared to see what happens next? I see. Very well. Then allow us to make our way to that final day. See with your own eyes, Master, how this tale concludes. And please, do not let go of my hand. The night before the opening ceremony, the master of the house headed for his wife's shed. There was a tension on his face, but a surety in his step. He had found the resolve to speak with her. Having locked her away for so long in a shed like a common prisoner, Jacopo was hardly optimistic about what she might say to him. He had undeniably mistreated her, said heartless and cruel things to her, and even gotten physically violent with her. His actions were inexcusable, even if they were in response to her infidelity. Of course, the very infidelity which had driven him to such behavior had not, in fact, taken place, but he was unaware of that. And there was a chance that they would never reconcile their misunderstandings, and that this predicament would not have a positive resolution, but he still clung to a tiny fragment of hope. He wanted to start over with the white-haired girl, to make a new future with her. With that desire burning strong in his heart, he stood before the door to her shed and called out to her.
Are you awake? It's me, Jacopo. May I come in? I won't hurt you. I will not raise my hand against you again. I swear to you I will do you no harm. I just wish to speak. I would like to have a calm, rational conversation. And as such, I will not enter your room until you have given me your permission. So may I please come in? You won't even give me a response? Alright. Considering how you must feel about me, I shouldn't be surprised. Fine, then you don't have to let me in. But please at least hear me out. Do you remember the day shortly after we first met? We went on our honeymoon. You can call the little walk we took a honeymoon. I wasn't able to do anything nice for you then either. I had no experience, no idea how to interact with an upper-class woman like you. I didn't know what I should do for you. Yes, I know that makes me sound juvenile. I have a tendency to say things I don't mean the more perturbed I get. I'm sure I said things to hurt you numerous times that day. However, at the photography shop when you saw the phenakistoscope, you smiled for me. I was genuinely pleased in that moment. I felt like I'd gotten closer to you. I very much doubt that was actually an appropriate present for a noble woman like yourself. Jewels or flowers or something like that. Something beautiful would have certainly suited you better. And I knew that, but I assumed you would have been giving gifts like that countless times in the past. You are, after all, a beautiful woman. I didn't want to have to compete on the same field as those other men. I wanted to be special. No, I wanted to be unique to you. No one had ever showed you anything of the sort before, had they? Frankly, I wasn't sure if a woman of your status would take any interest in a phenakistoscope at all. I imagine you've thrown it out by now, but I choose to believe you sincerely liked it on that day. That, if just for a moment, I caught your eye. Even if you started seeing other men afterwards, that moment was real, wasn't it? Our marriage was, at its core, nothing but an arrangement between our parents, exchange of money and influence. That was how it began, but that day I loved you. I yearned to see you smile as if I had loved you my entire life. Hmm. Pacific Railroad has finally been completed. It's the project I've been funding. Everyone thought it was crazy, but a railroad now stretches across the breadth of this country. A joining ceremony will be held tomorrow. It's going to be a grand event. Locally, they're planning on doing a gun salute. The sound of the last spike being driven into the ground will be transmitted across the country via telegraph. I procured a telegraph so we can listen to it here in the mansion. In your condition, you would probably have trouble handling the crowds at the telegraph station. But here, you could celebrate in the comfort of your own home. Suppose what I'm saying is, I want to celebrate this with you. I've made arrangements to make that possible for you because I wish to have you there, with me. Would you be willing tomorrow to celebrate the completion of the Pacific Railroad with me? Would you be there at my side? Ugh. Please, say something. I want to start over. I know very well what I've done to you. You may be at fault yourself, but what I did is unacceptable. But what I did was a consequence of my overpowering love for you. I swear it. Why will you not answer me? Say something, anything. Please, please. You can hear me in there, can't you? If you don't want to, you can just say no. If you do reject me, I'll set you free. I won't hurt you, I promise. The door is not locked. Who opened it? Hello?
A humid spring breeze brushed against his cheeks. The drawn lace curtains appeared to glow in the gentle moonlight.
Hmm.
The white-haired girl was not in her room.
Where have you gone?
Stupefied, he glanced about his wife's chambers. To my eyes, the neatly organized room appeared no different than any other day. But to his eyes, it was pale and hollow. For the one who was supposed to be there, who was supposed to be waiting for him, was not present. He could not hear a voice from anywhere in the shed. In its place echoed a dry rustling. A sad, pitiful, empty whisper of a noise. It came from the lone objects left abandoned atop a desk.
The phenakistoscope.
It was the one present Yakobo had ever given the white-haired girl. A toy made of paper. When spun and viewed into a mirror, it created the illusion of a man and woman dancing.
You still had this. It's ridiculous. I assumed you had thrown it out.
The white-haired girl had evidently made considerable use of the phenakistoscope. The paper was visibly worn and tattered, warped in places, and had even begun to yellow. It spun slowly in the wind, rustling and rustling and rustling, spinning in an endless reminder of that day the year before, though there were no longer anyone around to look through it.
Why? But you were with other men. Why would you keep something I gave you? It's so worn. Why? A letter.
Beneath the ever-rotating phenakistoscope lay a single sheet of paper. As if drawn to it, he scanned the contents of the parchment. It was a letter addressed to Caro mio Jacopo. The salutation was written in his native language, translated as follows. My beloved Jacopo. Did the fruits of your dream turn out as you had hoped? I'm sure it was wonderful and impressively fast. A train that can travel across a continent as large as this is like something out of a story. I wish I could have been there to see it. I'm sure it would have been quite pleasant, like the day you gave me the Finnicus wheel. Am I being presumptuous? I'm sorry. I thought I would keep waiting for you forever. No matter how much you hated it or ignored me. But I made up my mind, so I'm sorry. I decided I would wait for you until the railroad was completed. I foolishly thought that you might invite me to the opening ceremony. But it seems like I'm not good enough for you. I'm going to take my leave of your house. So you needn't concern yourself with me any longer. However, I do have one request. Please do not forget about all the letters I wrote. Think back on them from time to time. And do not burn them all, for they contain my thoughts, my feelings, my words, a record of my love for you. Remember, when you can, that I was always watching you. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble writing. My ears are ringing. There's a voice whispering to me, calling me a witch. Maybe it's your voice. My vision is blurry. I'm not even sure what is going through my mind. I'm sorry this was all I was able to write for you. I'm truly sorry. I will leave the Finnicus wheel behind. It was my dearest treasure. Farewell. I loved you.
What? What the hell is this?
He was visibly rattled. And unsurprisingly so. The mention of the Transcontinental Railroad's opening ceremony, the letter she had written, her dearest treasure, her professions of love for him, and above all, the mangled text that appeared to have been written by someone not entirely in their right mind. Everything about it served to amplify his befuddlement.
You waited for me. How can that be? The joining ceremony is tomorrow. It hasn't happened yet. Why? Why did you have to leave then? I'm here. I came for you just as I planned. Ceremony is on the 10th.
A second later, Jacopo gasped. The date written on the letter was the day prior, May 8th. Originally, the ceremony was planned to be held on May 8th, 1869. However, due to bad weather and a labor dispute, it had been postponed for 2 days.
This can't be. I made sure you were informed. I had Maria. Maria.
He's having an affair.
Maria, no, you couldn't.
The scattered fragments of memory began coming together in his mind. Maria was the only one who had informed him of his wife's supposed unfaithfulness. And though the letters had not been addressed to him, thinking back on it, they had all been about him. In one letter, she had mentioned treasuring a gift. Jacopo had assumed it meant a gift from another man. But in fact, she was referring to the phenakistoscope sitting on top of a desk, still spinning in the wind. At long last, he finally made that connection. And at the same time, he realized that the only person who could have altered the letters was someone they both trusted, Maria.
Never. She never, even once, betrayed me. She was not unfaithful at all. She waited, unwaveringly, for me. And I refused to believe her. I caused her pain again and again.
But his realizations came far too late. The white-haired girl's spirit had broken, and she was no longer at the mansion. Had he caught on to Maria's machinations sooner, things would not have turned out as they had. But he was much too late.
Maria, why would you do this?
Clenching the letter from his wife, Jacopo stormed out into the shed in search of Maria. But she was not in the room assigned to her.
Where are you? Where have you gone? Maria!
Several maids were roused from their slumber by the racket, but no one had the courage to speak up as the master of the house frantically charged through the halls. Eventually, he arrived at his own chamber. He was certain he had closed the door before leaving, but now a sliver of light shone through the gap between it and the frame. From within the room, he thought he could sense someone's presence. When he opened the door, there he saw, comfortably perched upon his own chair, a woman.
I've been waiting, Jacopo. It's room we got here. So I guess that's only natural. You being the man of the house and all. All these fancy furnishings. You do know this stuff's too good for you, right? And then me. I get a bare little maid's room. Dressing up the wall. So hey, Jacopo. Clear the air with your little lady yet?
Maria.
Have that look on your face. I'm guessing it did make things better then?
You know good and well that she's not even here anymore.
Well, yeah. But I still want to hear you say it, you know. I want to hear from your own mouth that you couldn't keep a leash on your woman. So you locked her up, drove her mad, broke her down, and she ran away from you. Go on, say something. Climb back on your high horse and start shouting like you always do.
Why, Maria? Why would you do this?
Why? What do you think? Because I fucking despise you. I've been trying to figure out how I wanted to end things, but they just fell apart on their own. The fate is smiling down upon me, I guess.
Nonsense. She was waiting for me until the day of the joining ceremony. And I was going to see her on that day. You knew the ceremony had been postponed.
That's what you get for putting it all in my hands. For thinking I'm the only one on your side. What, do you think I just tell her like a good little maid? Not a chance in hell. I mean, talk about some fantastic news. You both picked the same day, but you've got the dates different. Absolutely perfect.
Maria, is that how you've always felt? How long have you held this grudge against me?
How long? How long? How goddamn dense can you be? Must be nice living in your little fantasy world, Jacopo. And this is the next cup of familia. Oh my gosh, my sights.
So you've always hated me.
At the very least. I fucking loathed you since the minute we had our reunion. At first, I did try to convince myself you had your reasons. Didn't make it feel any less unfair, though. You had all your money and all your power and everything else you stole from me. I didn't go and get hitched to this pretty little lady. Oh, don't try to act like you're the victim here. This is all on you. Do you have any idea how I felt? Fallen from grace to make your goddamn maid, and I need to suck up to you. Do you have any idea how infuriating that was? Or did you think I didn't know anything? Did you think I didn't suspect anything? If you did, then you've got your head way up in the clouds. So you were motivated by...
So you were motivated by your grudge against my family, the Berzatis?
Precisely. This is exactly it. Your father wanted so badly to be the capo familia, and so badly to be in power, that he murdered my dad and grandpa. They say it was a carriage accident. But the ground was all turned up to hell where it happened. You want to tell me what kind of carriage accident caused it to explode? As soon as my dad and grandpa died, your dad took over as the capo familia. The balance of power in the factions began to change. My family, and anyone with ties to the Campanellas, were either exterminated or exiled. The Berzeratis took control of the cities. My grandpa's Koska became your Koska. No one in their right mind would be naive enough to think the Berzeratis didn't have a hand in that. The great Campanella family, beaten by their pet dog. Except the dog had rabies. And as a result, in time, that lush historical land will wither away and die. My dad and grandpa, buried in the dried up earth, are screaming in the graves even now. You can't prove me wrong, can you, Jacopo? And now, first in line to be the next cup of Amina is you, his son. Naturally. That's pretty good, don't it? Slaughtering my family. Leaving us to wallow in the mud. Well, you live here like a fucking king. Because of what your family did, I don't have a home to go back to anymore. No house, no prestige. I have nothing left. And it's goddamn outrageous. The Campanas are supposed to run that city. But instead, you filthy Berzerati curse is crawling all over it like some kind of infestation. I am a legitimate Campanella. But I'm stuck being your goddamn maid. If I didn't born a woman, I could have become the capo familia after my dad and grandpa died. But because I'm a woman, I couldn't retaliate. I just had to sit on my hands and watch the tragedy unfold. It was absolutely miserable. So I had to make you suffer as well. I had to make you as... no. I had to make you twice as miserable as I was.
You had no reason to hate anyone but me. Why did you make her a part of this? Did you have some grudge against her too?
Not particularly. I actually rather liked the madam. Sweet, pretty, kind-hearted, timid, and fragile. Trusted every word I said. A splendid little toy.
You thought of her as your toy.
Oh no. Can you really call me out for that? You can't. You'd have no right. You never cared one bit about anyone else. They're all footstools to you. It's a little too late to find yourself a sense of morality. This whole thing, you could have avoided if you two just had a single conversation. But instead, the both of you come crawling to me, saying, "You're my only ally, Maria." How dense can you be?
Of course, I thought you were my ally. I trusted you, and I'm sure she did too.
Then you should get your eyes examined, because you can't see a damn thing.
Maria.
My god, it was beautiful. The way you two blindly trusted me, creating your own misunderstandings and causing your own pain. How we never seem to get on the same page. Watching it all fall apart.
Maria. Is that everything? The extent of your grudge and all you did?
Yep. That's everything. All that's left is for me to kill you.
Ugh.
Hold still now. I won't want to miss.
Maria, you... Does our past mean nothing to you? Was that oath just an empty promise? How could it when you remember so clearly?
Fine, I'll explain for a little romantic boy. Bad grown-ups will even take advantage of good memories. It's time we finally return this to you, Jacopo. That cartridge you gave me, packed with your disgusting sentimentality.
Ugh. Ugh.
Killing you ain't the end, though. All you preserve are a curse. I'll send every last one of you straight to hell! My revenge has just begun.
Even if... Even if you had been a man, you wouldn't have been a suitable cup of familia. You should have aimed between my eyes, Maria!
Jacopo! It...
Why?
Why?
In a panic, I pulled the trigger, and from the barrel a bullet went flying. Quite literally right between her eyes. Would anyone ever believe me? If I said this wasn't how I wanted things to turn out?
The rain just keeps on coming. wonder if we'll be able to go home today. Hey, Jacopino! Say something, you little wuss.
Don't shout. You're gonna give me a headache.
The lightning's way louder than me.
E!
You jumped, Jacopino. You're such a baby.
You jumped too, and stop calling me that.
Don't be scared and cry.
I'm not crying. Your eyes are damp too.
I'm not crying. Not at all. Not one bit.
Liar.
There's no end to this rain, is there?
I'm fine if it doesn't stop. There's nothing at home for me.
You don't want to go home?
Hmm.
Your parents don't get along, huh?
That's got nothing to do with it.
Liar.
Hmm. You've got it good. Everyone loves your grandpa. Whenever anyone needs something, they come to him. Now there's a great man.
Huh? How did my grandpa become a part of this?
Oh, no reason.
Hmm. Not everyone likes him. He gets just as much hate as love. Grandpa's not really a model citizen. He's mostly just shrewd. Are you jealous?
I'm not. My old man is, though.
Hmm. Is he now? Well, your dad's got his good points too, I think. Like, I don't know, he seems like the kind of man who can accomplish big things. He seems a lot stricter than my grandpa.
Mm.
No, come on. I don't get you. What are you claiming up for?
No reason.
If you don't want to go home, then how about we go somewhere far away from here?
Huh?
Once it stops raining, let's get out of here. Head up to the capital, find some work. We could make it work, the two of us. Oh, and we'll bring Nero too, of course.
Mm. If we could, that would be nice. Break free of this city and its outdated traditions. Head somewhere bigger, more forward thinking. If only it were possible. It's alright, Maria. I know you were just joking. We wouldn't be able to find work anyway. If the two of us ran off, we'd be starving in a month. You'd have to be blind not to see that.
Right.
Let's go home once the rain lets up.
Yeah, once he does. But until then, I know, let's sing. Sing even louder than the lightning. Then maybe you'll stop crying, Jacopino.
I am not crying.
Come on, let's sing. La 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 lero, la 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 lero, la 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 lero, la lero, la lero, la lero, la la.
La 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 lero la lero la lero la lero la lero la lero la la. Maria, I may not put it into words, but I trust you understand that I consider you a dear friend.
Listen to me, Jacopo. My actions were justified. I did what I did for the betterment of the city, this land. The Campanellas are too conservative. Under their control, this country will atrophy. Progress will continue to lose steam. If we don't push forward, we'll fall further and farther behind. Before long, you will be made the next Capa Familia. But until that day, you will cross over into the New World and establish the Cosca there. Unify us, bolster us, make us strong. I'll handle things back here. I won't let the Campanellas try to strike back. What? You want Maria to... It's dangerous to keep a Campanella so close by. She has to be taken care of. If you insist. But do not let your guard down. Betrayal is not a constant companion in this world. I'm giving you my revolver. Keep it on you at all times. Glory everlasting upon our blood, and upon this earth.
Best I can give you is a job as my maid. If I show you any more obviously preferential treatment, Berzati's are liable to step in. Money, power, respect, and enough authority to not take orders from anyone. Thought that if I could obtain all that, I'd be able to give you your freedom. And her as well. I wanted to give you both comfortable lives. But none of that got through to either of you. Everything slipping through my fingers. Her love, my friendship with Maria, both of their smiles.
Master! What was that sound? Hey, so much blood. Maria? What happened this time?
You keep getting stuck witnessing the worst events.
What? What?
Call a doctor. Someone with tight lips. Do not call the police. And don't make a scene. Got it? so, then go on.
Yes, sir.
Right. Not everything has slipped from my grasp. My money and influence are all that's left.
That is what you wanted, though, is it not? You sought money and power, no?
Aren't you going to go?
Yes, I will. But first, I would like to ask you something. What do you intend to do from here?
What am I gonna do? Exactly the same as before. There's but one thing for me to do.
I see. Will you eventually find solace in your riches? The way I see it, money and power can be your ally, but they can become your enemy in the blink of an eye.
Ugh.
If you do not put them into words, your feelings will never make it through to anyone. For unlike money, humans are not measurable by their appearance. He failed to communicate to anyone what he held within his breast. He was chained down by his place in society, his pride, his relationships, and his own heart. And at some point, he found himself in a position where he was no longer able to speak his mind. After enough time, he likely forgot how to be genuine at all. Or perhaps someone like him simply would not, even if they knew how. In any event, there are many things in this world that cannot be communicated without being put into words. How sad that his tale should end without him expressing how he truly felt. How hard it must have been to never clear up his misunderstandings. After Jacopo's confrontation with Maria, the Pacific Railroad was completed as scheduled. Celebratory cheers shook the new world as the last spike was driven into the rails. Jacopo, however, could not even manage a smile listening to the telegraph. And I'm sure you can take a guess as to why. The people from whom he wished to share that moment were not there. Shortly following her death, Jacopo held a private funeral for Maria. Then he commenced a search for the white-haired girl. But he did not do so alone. He had others to help, and did everything in his power to find her, tirelessly searching for many, many years. However, he was never able to locate her. And he spent the remainder of his life alone. Money, power, renown, servants. The world around him was always quite lively. But solitude was his only companion. He waited and he waited and he waited for the white-haired girl to return. The years crawled by with no family or loved ones at his side to care for him in his old age. He died alone.
The door before you slowly drew shut. You can no longer hear the raucous sounds of the men from within the den. The faint scent of cigarette smoke, however, lingered in the air. Staring vaguely at the closed door, you noticed something was amiss. The maid who had been holding your hand was no longer at your side. You glanced around, but she was nowhere in sight. Down the corridor stretched only darkness. Not having anticipated this, you were unsure how to react.
What's the matter? Oh, wait.
No, wait,
Joshi.
this is gonna be Joshi, yeah?
Yeah. Oopsies.
Should I?
Honest
How
to God,
should-
like, go for, like, happy-go-lucky doofus kind of voice.
Okay. What's the matter? You lost, or are you trying to take in the sights?
A voice called out to you, but it was not the maid's voice. Caught off guard, he spun around, confused, in search of the source.
Where are you looking? I'm over here. Yeah, there you go. A little more to the left.
Following the voice's instructions, you found yourself facing a wall.
You look like you've just seen a ghost. Hey now, come on, don't turn away. Yep, you got it. I'm the one talking to you.
The voice was coming from within the painting. I pressed the wrong button. When you had passed by this wall on your way to the third floor, a magnificent landscape painting had been hanging there. But now the canvas was a deep shade of black, as if it had been dipped into a vat of ink.
Been a while since I've talked to anyone. So tell me, you can hear me all right, can't you? Splendid. Been so long since I had a conversation, I was afraid I might have forgotten how to talk. So tell me, who might you be? You don't know? Well, isn't that quite the pickle? Then, how about we have a little chat, eh? You got yourself turned around and aren't sure where to go, yeah? Well, I'll be happy to tell you anything I can. Just ask away.
The painting sounded rather high-spirited. Perhaps he was simply excited to have the opportunity to speak with someone. So you decided you would ask the painting a few questions. Who are you?
Me? Well, as you can see, I'm a painting. Why did I end up as a painting? Hard to say. Maybe I was reborn as a painting because I used to really like art? Thought there are things I painted that I wish I hadn't. Maybe that's regrets. Maybe that's regrets what turned me into this. Hopefully, I get the chance to apologize to him about that. Anywho, no point in getting into any more detail about that. Wouldn't mean anything to you. So enough about me. Oh, right! You don't know anything about yourself. A shame that. Alright then. A favor for you. Since you can't tell me about yourself. If you run into him, could you tell him I really regret what I did? I know I should tell him myself, but, well, as you can see, I'm stuck here. Can't move an inch, so I've got to ask for help. I feel absolutely terrible about the painting that picture, though. I know, yeah, the deadline's way past on that one, but that's what makes it regret, yeah? 'Cause you can't take it back. By the time I had realized, it was too late. He was already dead. He's long since passed away. Huh? How are you supposed to give a dead fellow a message? Well, for all you know, dead kid could be wandering these halls too. So please, if you come across him, tell him that I said that. That I didn't mean any harm with that painting. Or maybe you are him.
Who am I?
Just because you don't know who you are doesn't mean you can go around asking other people. I'm not a person, you say. Well, no, you're right, but I'm not gonna know anything about you that you can't tell me yourself. I mean, from where I'm standing, you look almost like a walking cloud of shadows. I can't even tell you what you look like. The maid who was with you before? Did she call you master? I see. But the question is, which era's master are you? How many doors have you been through? 3 doors, eh? And of those, did any of them bring anything back? Well, it's not an easy thing, recovering yourself. Or maybe you weren't behind any of those 3 doors. Yeah, that's gotta be it. That was your first time witnessing those tragedies. Yours is another door. So tell me, how do you feel looking behind those doors? Was it frightening, saddening, heart-wrenching? Well, let me tell you something. You were able to bear them because they weren't your tragedies. If the next door you open is yours, will you be able to bear it? Will you be able to accept your own tragedy? It's one thing seeing others suffering, but your own? If you have to face emotions you wanted to keep buried, secrets you wanted to keep hidden away, pain you wanted to forget, do you think you'll be able to accept them as your own? If you can't, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't accuse you of running if you chose not to reclaim your old self either. Nothing wrong with erasing your memory of something if it was so bad you don't want to face it in the first place. Let it be rewritten as someone else's story. That'll make it a whole lot easier on you. Because you never know. The most unfortunate tale of all may as well be yours. Or perhaps that goes for everything about you. You won't know till you see it. Well, oh wait, hold on, let me read that. You won't know till you see it. Well, that's true enough. But once you do, there might not be any turning back. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that. A fabrication. If it turns out that you're someone from behind the next door, then perhaps you're my...
What is this place?
Oof. Talk about some hard-hitting questions. I'm probably not the one who will be able to answer that for you. I don't have a very deep connection with this mansion, you see. I swear, I got nothing to gain from lying, do I? It's my regrets that have turned me into this. I wasn't summoned here by no one. That said, there is one thing I can tell you. This place summons people. People who have ties to something that happened long, long ago. No one knows anything even happened. I didn't know either, till she told me. Though I haven't the foggiest how much of it is true or not. Are you here? Because you were summoned by her. Or did you come here of your own will to find someone? If you came here of your own volition and you weren't summoned by her, then mayhaps you'll be the one who can break
Who is the maid?
Might as well ask her that directly. But she won't say until you've regained your old self. I see. Well, in that case, if you want to know, you know what you gotta do. It's entirely up to you whether you make an ally. Or an enemy out of her. There's no guarantee she's even right in the head. You never know. Maybe you're not the only one who hasn't found themselves. Haven't talked that much in a long time. Feels great. And that I've got that out of my system, I should be able to get some good sleep. Probably still wandering in the dark now, but I really hope you find the outcome you want. And I mean that. You can either reclaim your old self or you can toss it aside. The choice is yours either way. Now, since it looks like your escort isn't showing up, what do you plan to do next? Huh? How about taking a look around the place, since you've got a little free time? Could be you come across some things you wouldn't with her around. Oh, right. If you gotta go exploring, I've got the perfect thing. Stick your hand into the canvas, would you?
The painting was still wrapped in an impenetrable darkness. The perfect, all-consuming void. The man had told you to put your hand into it. You... take that key. You extended your hand into the painting. The moment your fingertips brushed against the darkness, it swallowed your entire hand up to the wrist.
No, not there. That tickles a little to the right.
As the man in the painting had instructed, you groped around the inside of the darkness. Before long, you felt something hard at your fingertips. Clenching the object, you withdrew your hand. Your arm was still intact. You spread your fingers, and there you found a key.
That tickled. With that key, you can access the master bedroom. A while back, she tossed it into me. The damned little bugger. So, yeah, it ain't mine. Don't worry about giving it back, however. I bet there's something worth seeing in there. If she felt... Fuck. If she felt the need to toss that key... Alright, well, I'm gonna get some sleep. You take care. If you happen to learn my name, come pay me another visit. Should the fancy strike?
Having said that, the painting fell quiet. In your hand lay a small key. It seemed rather antiquated, and vaguely familiar. Silence once again drew you over the corridor. You stood there all alone, no sign of the maid. After considering it for a few moments, you decided to explore the mansion on your own.
Oh wow.
So for the record, when I did not use, was not using walkthrough, I just wanted to say that out loud.
Oh.
At any rate,
Okay.
so
Over eager. Are you gonna get the trophy?
there is no trophy. This is the Switch version. Switch version doesn't
Oh,
have achievements. So fun fact,
Right.
in the original PC version of this game, you get an achievement for calling for the maid 10 times in a row. However, there is quite literally no reason to do that right now because there's no achievements
to
on
be
the Switch
fair,
version.
is it funny though?
Nah, it just says that she doesn't come
Is there
for
any
you.
dialogue for
What
doing
is-
it 10 times?
No.
What is the achievement called?
Let me pull up the fucking Steam version. Give me a second. Oh, whoops. Oh, shit.
Oh no, I've
You'll
ruined
call
the
for me
stream.
anyway, just for.
I've ruined it.
Is it back? Is it good? You all good?
Yeah,
It's
I can
good,
hear
it's
it.
Just give it a sec. Just give it a second to go full screen.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. So let me just see really quickly. Fata. Let's see. The achievement is called All Alone.
Oh, that's not funny at all.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the entrance. Alright, back to the... You made your way to the mansion's entrance. There was no one around, nor any source of light. Groping through the darkness, you found the front door, which was sealed shut with a heavy bar. You pressed against the bar, but it remained firmly in place. The door did not budge either. It seemed you could not leave the mansion. Random man.
And which? Crucify the impure.
When you made to step away from the entrance, you heard a muffled voice. You looked around, but you were unable to determine the source of the voice. Nor could you be sure whom you had heard either. Giving up and finding anything at the entrance, you decided to head somewhere else. Go to the fireplace. You made your way to the room with the fireplace. What remained of the fire crackled weakly, leaving the room in a veil of darkness. You remembered that you had awoken here. Out of sheer curiosity, you sat down in the rocking chair you had been asleep in. Creak, creak, creak. It was as soothing as a cradle to a baby, and in short order, you found your consciousness drifting from your grasp.
And reading a story place by the fire makes it almost feel like we're in another world, doesn't it, Master? I bet that's why troubadours perform at pubs, so they can be near the fire. Oh, you're such a cynic. But that's okay. Say, do you remember when I first arrived here? When I was cleaning the library?
Your eyes slowly slid open. Fragments of a pleasant dream lingered in the back of your mind. The crackling of a fire, the taste of warm wine. However, there was nothing pleasant about the fireplace sitting before you. No warm, crackling flames. In fact, the brisk air of the room overpowered the remnants of embers left there. A chill ran down your spine. Afraid you might freeze stiff if you stayed there much longer, you resumed your exploration of the mansion. Go to the den. The scent of cigarette smoke lingered in the den. However, the room was silent. Not even an echo of the man's chattering remained. Something was moving. Billiard balls. There was no one present to strike the balls. They rolled spontaneously around the table. The paths they traced across the surface were rough and erratic, contrasting that of when the former master had held the cue. The spheres collided with one another, not a single one coming close to the pockets. As an experiment, you pulled a ball off the table. In response, the path of the balls became even clumsier. Having lost one of the targets, it began bouncing aimlessly off the cushioned walls of the table. As you stared intently at the table, a man's voice rang out from somewhere in the room.
Did it freeze?
Give it a second. You good, Switch? Oh, okay, it's just like that. Alright. Spinning around, you saw the silhouette of a man. However, you could not make out what the man was saying. The man thrust his finger at the table. He appeared to want you to return the ball. You reluctantly placed the billiard ball back on the table. When you did, the balls resumed endlessly colliding with one another, never landing in any of the pockets. You looked up to find the shadow gone. The tomb of the maid was not going to appear in the den. You exited the room, making your way to the back of the corridor. Back into the corridor. Go outside to the rose garden.
You're right, he's covered in roses.
Oh, you've got petals on my book. This isn't mine. I can't afford it.
Though you could hear the sounds of children laughing, you could not see them. Regardless, their cheerful voices warmed your heart. You decided to linger there in the garden for some time. Along with the children's laughter wafted a sweet fragrance. The wind blew, whisking flower petals up into the air. It was an enchanting sight. But after a while, the roses began to wilt. You could no longer hear the children's voices either. A young man stood alone in the withered rose garden. As you drew near, you called out to the youth. But the young man did not appear to notice you. He merely stood there, staring vacantly across the garden. The youth muttered something in a lifeless voice.
This isn't what I wanted. I just wanted a normal, peaceful life. I can't bear being alone. I can't take this. Someone get me out of here. Oh God. Tell me. It's not all my fault.
You tried to call out to the young man several times, but he did not seem to hear you. He simply continued muttering to himself. Before long, the youth's shadow faded into nothing. Unable to bear the chilly air any longer, you stepped back into the mansion. Go into the cellar. When you descended into the cellar, you heard beast-like snarling. Along with it came a sour odor and the sound of ripping flesh. You could not see the beast, but did not make it any less unpleasant. You made a retreat from the cellar. But before you could, a shadowy creature lunged at you. You reflexively squeezed your eyes shut. After several moments, you opened your eyes again to find the silhouette of a man staring in place of the beast. You and the shadow stared at one another for some time. You asked the shadow a question, and the shadow responded. However, you had no idea what it said. The shadow seemed to be trying to communicate something to you, but trying to make sense of something you could not understand was pointless. Having no reason to remain in the cellar any longer, you made your way back upstairs. The smell of dusty books filled the air in the library. You approached a shelf to examine one of the books, and suddenly an avalanche of them came falling onto the floor. You stared blankly at the mountain of books. They had fallen down on their own, but they showed no signs of putting themselves away. Since no one else was there to do it, you began placing the books back on the shelf. 1, 2, 3, a dozen. And as soon as you had gotten them all back up, they came crashing back down again. He wished very much to implore of the maid's assistance. She did not appear to be in the area. Pretending you had not seen anything, you made your way back into the hallway. You approached the stained glass window. An array of pews is arranged facing the stained glass. There seemed to be an air of tranquility about the room. You sat down in one of the pews and stared quietly forward for some time. For a moment you felt like you were on the verge of recalling something, but ultimately the memory never managed to surface. The maid did not appear to be there. Where could she have gone? You decided to resume exploring the mansion. You inserted the key you had been given into the door's keyhole. With a twist, the door opened. The master bedroom was shrouded in darkness, much like every other room in the mansion. It had evidently been left unused for some time. The air in the room was stale and forlorn.
Master,
A voice seemed to ring out from somewhere.
come on, get up. Up with you. Master? See? What did I tell you? It's so much nicer in here with a little light.
Without warning, your whole world took on bright, vivid colors. Light streamed through the window, illuminating a well-lit bedroom. A woman's silhouette stood before you.
Oh, wait a sec. Don't you hide under your bedspread. Get out of there. Oh, but Master, you agreed that I could open the windows. Don't worry, I've put the curtains up. If it gets too bright, you can draw them. Mornings take the best part of being outside and squeeze them all into the same few hours. You don't have to go outside in the sunlight for it either. Just listen to all the wonderful sounds. The joyous songs of the birds, the swaying of the trees, and the rustling of the leaves.
You tried to call out to the silhouette, but it did not respond. Reaching out for her, your hands simply passed through her body. It did not seem to be you that she was speaking to. Perhaps you were looking at a scene from some other period of time.
By being as pushy as I feel right now. I completely misjudged you. You're the exact opposite of what I thought you were. Let's see. I thought you were cold and cruel. Heartless and incomprehensible. But I'm beginning to get a better idea. You try to put on airs, but you're really rather childish. You have a short temper, but can be surprisingly playful. What else? You have a pretty difficult personality, too. Now, hear me out. That's not everything. You gave me a chance to talk, and you listened intently. You can be kind of nice, too. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house. So we've got plenty more time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me, too. This is just the beginning, after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? Let's not waste any time, then. What do you say we do something today that we haven't been able to do before? Where should we begin? Oh, I know, we can get this place cleaned up. Now, there's some actual light in here. You can see all sorts of things we'd probably rather not. Like dust. All over the place.
When the woman's shadow faded away, the master bedroom transformed back into its old, dreary state.
Master, can you say my name?
You were unsure how to describe the urge welling up within your breast. You could not say her name. You stood unmoving in the master bedroom for some time, but did not appear anything else was going to happen. So you decided to head somewhere else. You returned to the room with the stained glass window. You had searched throughout the mansion, but had no luck of finding the maid. You felt somewhat tired. You were not quite sure whether it was physical exhaustion or otherwise. You had little interest in doing any more moving about. Taking a seat in one of the pews, you gazed up at the stained glass. Staring solemnly back at you was the archangel, said to weigh the souls of the deceased. Perhaps he was trying to weigh your soul.
Master. Oh, there you are, Master. You gave me quite the scare. After returning from the third door, you disappeared without a word. Oh my, it was I who disappeared. That is quite strange. I did not go anywhere as far as I'm aware. Nevertheless, I'm glad to have found you. I would have been at a complete loss for what to do if I had been separated from you yet again. I did indeed say that when you first arrived. I have been waiting for your return for a very long time. For centuries, as a matter of fact. That would make me a ghost, then, you say? I'm very much not a ghost. Would I be able to hold your hand if I were?
Saying this, the maid took your hand. It was cold enough to send a shudder down your spine, and completely devoid of life. Though as chilling as it may have been, you still took comfort in the feeling of her hand in yours. The maid looked down at you with gentle eyes. After a few moments of silence, she sat down beside you.
The stained glass is quite beautiful, is it not? Every time I see it, it brings tranquility to my heart. A dreadful, deep-rooted curse afflicts this mansion. However, this room is the one exception. Can you feel the purity that hangs in the air, Master? Yes. What is it, Master? You are correct. The stained glass window has been shattered and was not present in the time period of the previous tale. I wonder. Perhaps it is because the mansion we are in presently resides in a realm separate from the real world. We are in a world constructed from a myriad of memories and histories. I'm sure that when you regain your old self, Master, the mansion too shall be restored in its original state. So do try and remember, all right? Oh, yes. Where did you go in my absence, Master? I see. So you explored the mansion then? And did you find anything noteworthy? Memories? I'm not quite sure what you mean. How peculiar. As a servant of this house, I pride myself in being aware of most everything present within these walls. I wonder whose memories they could be. And the key to the master bedroom. Why did I throw away the key? I beg your pardon? You say a painting told you.
You could see perplexity on the maid's face. You had never seen her make such an expression before.
I know nothing of any key. Oh, master, you should not tell jokes meant to cause all this discomfort. But a talking painting, you say? You seem to have a rather vivid imagination. Maybe you can tell the next tale, master. I am only teasing. Now, that was a nice break, but we should get moving. The tale I'm about to show you is the last one of the mansion's memories. I'm certain you will remember yourself after seeing it. And to our feet. The final door is not far. And please, do not let go of my hand.
Holding your hand, the maid led you to the far end of the room. Crossing beneath the stained glass window, a metal door came into view.
Our destination lies at the top of these stairs. There we will find one last door.
She pushed open the metal door, revealing a long, long spiral staircase.
It'll be a bit of a walk, so let us be on our way. And do please watch your step. This is called an observation tower. Normally, towers such as this were built in castles or churches, so it is rather strange for there to be one in a mansion. The last door I wish to show you, Master, resides at the top of this tower.
Rectangular windows were carved out of the stone in several locations along the way up to the spiral staircase. Tended to peer out one of the windows, but all I could see was a thick layer of fog. Perhaps the maid's suggestion the mansion did not presently reside in reality was, in fact, correct. With each step upward, you found yourself gripped by an indescribable sense of anxiety. The feelings somewhat resembled irritation or annoyance. Sensing this, the maid tightly gripped your hand.
There is nothing to worry about. You will be fine. It is all in the past. No matter what may happen, so long as you do not let go of my hand, you have nothing to fear.
You and the maid continued climbing the stairs. Up and up, around and around, marching ever nearer towards the supposed final door. High up into the tower, as the light from below drew distant, a rotten wood door came into view. Patches of what appeared to be blood stained the surface in holes, and holes had been bored into it with sharp objects of some sort. You heard a scream from far below, where no one should have been. Random man.
Kill the witch. Kill the witch. Kill the witch. Burn her. Burn her. Burn her.
You were struck with fear. The next moment, the maid opened the door. And then... you slowly descended into darkness.
You can try to remember the past, but it's an absolute, utter waste of time. Erase everything, all of your sorrows. Wipe them away for a fistful of happiness. Allow me to show you that you have no need of the past.
You have a good place to end it?
Yeah, good place to end it.
That's a good place to end it.
That is a good place to end it.
That's why I said we should peek. We gotta take a little bit of a peek, you know?
All right, I'll let you slide with that one.
Mm-hmm. So there is some secrets in this door that you'll be seeing sometimes when we open up the text log. Let's look forward to that.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little haha, little hee
Interesting,
hee,
very
little
cool.
poos. I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm.
See, so far I was like, why do you need to walk through? I think it's so obvious what you need to choose. Okay, that's a good reason.
I'm not using a walkthrough. I know what to do.
You're not using a walkthrough,
Oh,
yeah.
wait, so do you know where all the quote-unquote secrets are?
I know where all the shit is, yeah. Well, I mean, like, so for that one, I'm not actually sure, like, 100% about where that stuff is, but...
I knew that one was there, and I kind of know, I vaguely know, but I'm more gonna know from, like, the text cues where things are.
We're gonna
not,
have
like,
to
from-
do, like, yeah, we're gonna have to do
we're
some,
gonna,
like...
We're gonna wing it.
Mm-hmm. Or do some shenanigans. So, let's go ahead and have our post-discussion.
Hell yeah.
AC.
Mr. AC. And
Alright, can I be heard?
Mm-hmm.
yes, you can.
I've got
No.
all right.
Alright, cool. But yeah, this is a wild experience. First off, I'm just gonna get door 3 out of the way. Rip Bozo, rip and piss. Anyway, I do enjoy her as a character, not as a
Mhm.
person. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude,
Wait.
yeah.
Question. How does it feel to be free from spoiler jail?
Oh, it feels great. And here's the weird thing. Because the way the CGs are in this game, I couldn't even tell that was
Yeah.
supposed to be Maria.
She has a completely
Like-
different outfit. Her hair looks different too.
Her hair looks white, so I thought it was gonna be like the girl, like the white-haired maid was gonna like snap.
Ah.
And it's gonna
That's
be
really
like,
cool.
oh, she has the shorter hair because, you know, after the first door. And that's what I thought. And, no, I was wrong. Thank God the CGs don't look nothing like the actual characters.
So true. You love to see
So
it.
true, bestie.
But,
So true, bestia.
I enjoyed it. Can I talk about what my thoughts are for the prelude and
yeah,
the
go for
current?
it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very intrigued by what I had just witnessed. The talking painting, the echoes of the previous owners.
Mm-hmm.
And the master not and all of that. Which I think that the master, well, this is probably obvious, but I don't know if the master's in like the right state of mind. This could be a mixture of both supernatural and his mental state. I'm gonna settle on a 50-50 for this part. I think that he's dealing with supernatural stuff while not exactly being the most sanest in conditions. So I think it's a little mix of both. And also, I have two thoughts for something. One that's
Mm-hmm.
stupid and ridiculous. The other that's reasonable. Okay. This is about the painting. It's like, oh, I see you as a walking black shadow. Granted, the reasonable thought is, oh, the painting just sees what you see, which you just see a black shadow, and the painting sees you as a walking black shadow because you're a moving person and it's a solitary painting. My second theory is, what was the last thing that was depicted as a walking black shadow? Bestia. I'm not saying the protagonist is Bestia. I'm saying that maybe the protagonist has something similar like to Bestia. Something. I'm not saying like, oh, he's like Bestia's brother. He's not the El Hermano. I'm just saying like maybe there's some similar circumstances. And that's my more out there, wilder, maybe even stupid theory.
Okay.
Comment on that.
Sure.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. Anything else?
I just want to say, comment on that specifically. Like, when you walk around the mansion, you see all the other, like, quote-unquote memories as black shadows, too. So my thought that maybe your existence like them, too.
Yeah. Maybe the reason why it went to 099 was because you were like the first owner. And maybe we might see why the mansion is fucked in the way it is. You know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. These are my theories, my thoughts. Well read.
Love to see it. Okay.
Love to
Who's
see
up
it.
next?
Mr.
Noir.
Noir.
Man, it's great to not have Jacopo.
Hey, come on.
Deserved entirely.
Did you not enjoy being married to me, Noir?
Well, that's different. Well, I mean, well, yeah, the parts of it where it wasn't horrible were great.
Good times. We love to see it.
Clearly, this entire place is magic and full of ghosts. I'm thinking at this point it's definitely cursed, but I don't know if it's cursed like just in concept or if it's been cursed by a witch or not.
Okay. Anything else?
Can't wait to find out who this man in this painting is.
Gotcha. Bone.
Oh man, I can't believe Jacopo totally redeemed himself. Totally, that's absolutely redeemed. No. Anyway, I do have a thought of. Wait, let me actually scroll back up to the top of the notes. Oh shit, we didn't separate which one we started with. Okay, yeah, here we are. I found it I was wondering like what her plan was, Maria's, if the guy did decide to confront white-haired girl. If Jacopo did decide to like, it seemed like everything was banking on him not confronting her. I thought that was kind of a thing. It's like, what if he just talked? What if he did, Maria?
Well, I think she said something along the lines of, "Well, if he does, it doesn't really matter because I'll still be there making his life miserable anyway."
Huh.
She would have dealt with it. She would have come up with some way to do it. The same way she did. The letters were the white-haired girl's idea, and she reacted accordingly.
The other thought is, there is a possibility of maybe, if this is maybe like a dream thing or something. Maybe like the purple maid is the master. She is in the house at all times. She has what seems to be like eyes everywhere in this house. What if she's actually the real master, and she's like talking to a figment of herself? No, it's the other thing. And going further on the it's all a dream thing, I'm not sure if we have confirmed that this is basing itself upon old fairy tales. But what if the overall fairy tale is Alice in Wonderland? The idea of it's all a dream and every crazy wackadoo thing is a figment of the imagination. I do not think this is the case, but it is a thing to think on. Those are my thoughts.
All right.
Also,
Shep-
fuck Maria, fuck Jacopo. All right.
Wow. Anyways, Maria stands rise up.
God damn.
Anyways,
Yeah, let's
Shep.
go.
Continuing. Let's see. That means we've got Chelly. What's up with you?
So one thing I was not expecting in a visual novel is to hear boss music, but we did get boss music, and I appreciate it. As for actual questions, one thing I was curious about is, um, how would White Hair Girl have gotten out of the cottage and out of the entire like mansion grounds without anyone like noticing? Like, doesn't he have like other servants or like guards or something?
Well,
It's fine.
via the text, when she was having a breakdown, the door itself opened. As for nobody else being out there, the only one who went to that house was Maria. So if she's not there,
I'm
Maria
guessing
almost
Jacopo
certainly
told
unlocked the
everyone.
door.
You go.
Maria almost certainly unlocked the door.
Yeah, and I'm
And left,
guessing
and
that.
left the, I mean, she must have because she left the painting there.
Yep. So she did unlock the door, but that was like when she left the painting. Wasn't that like still some time before the before Maria gave up? Or sorry, before a girl gave up? Like they just stayed unlocked for like another week or so.
About that.
Because like I thought that the situation with the painting happened, and then she's like, "Okay, this is set in motion the clock. I'm gonna wait for him until then, but I wasn't gonna do that before that." I'm
Yeah, it
not
was
sure.
crafty and like worked according to what happened, manipulated accordingly.
One thing I was curious about is that she always the Maria was talking about all her mafia connections, but like, did she always have a gun, or did she steal one of Jacopo's? Because I thought it would just be the one gun that Jacopo had, but he killed her with his, so it wasn't his gun. That was one thing I was curious about.
she got the gun from Jacopo when they were children.
Ah,
She got the
Jacopo
cartridge.
got his gun from his dad before hitting
got
the
a
She got
car.
the,
The
she got
New
the
World.
cartridge from Jacopo, not the gun itself. The gun was
Ah,
probably just
right,
a
yeah.
random gun. It's probably not too hard for her to
I
get.
think she just got a gun.
Yeah, it's not
sure.
that difficult to get.
Yeah, not like yeah, sure.
Especially not when you're a gangster.
Not in
Yeah,
1869.
Not
Not
when
in
you're a
con-
fucking family.
It was probably much easier to get a gun back then.
I wonder
Anyway.
how she got the gun. Everybody, she got the gun. Anyway, continue.
Another thing I was saying is that this is like one of the first times that just talk actually doesn't work, even when someone's willing to do it, no matter how long it took to wait. Because in a lot of stories, you'd expect it to work out if the person just, screwed up their courage, but not when the person whose courage was being screwed up is not someone you're supposed to root for, I guess.
Wait, sorry. What do you mean by just talk didn't work? It just he was too late to just
Then he was
talk.
too late to do it. Like he didn't. His efforts were for nothing because he was too late. That's what I mean.
Well, could have done it earlier, but pride was in the way.
As for the discussion about the master, the you character being Bestia, I'm not entirely sure if that makes sense because, it's just a theory. But like, I'm seeing this, and from what we saw of Bestia, he could not like have his right mind whatsoever. Even if he had amnesia, that's what made him Bestia in the first place. So I don't know about that. But what I am interested in. Okay, you go.
No, I was gonna clarify. I didn't mean that quite literally. I mean, maybe he had like a condition similar to Bestia, or maybe, yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
that
continue.
makes more sense. As for the spookiness, first of all, love the man in the painting shenanigans. I always love it when like you have paintings that you can like interact with. I'm curious. I wonder if like there's gonna be a character from like episode 1 coming back. Is like maybe he was turned into a painting by a witch or something, like a character from episode 1. I know the voices were different, but you wouldn't tell us if the characters were the same, so that doesn't really give us anything to go on. And finally, the books knocking themselves over was like, yeah, like one of the true signs that this place is haunted. But if it is haunted, as someone said, I'm not sure if, like as you said, I'm not sure if it was cursed intentionally or if just so many unpleasant things had happened there that, or rather, so many things had happened in a similar place, because obviously the mansion is moving through the time periods. It's possible that so many unpleasant things have happened there that, like, dark energy has taken over the place, and anyone else who goes in there is in trouble. Okay, I have done theorizing.
All right. Joshy.
All right, so
I was coming with such an intenseness.
okay, for one, Jacopo is not entirely an evil person. That being stated, I felt again. I will say this again. This would have been a situation that Just Talk would have literally probably worked a little bit better in Jacopo's favor if he had gone to the white-haired girl and just simply talked it out. But that's besides the point. So it's kind of hard to feel bad for him, but it still feels bad. Like, it's not like I'm out without sympathy. It's like, kind of brought it on yourself.
Trust me, I was not. Oh, sorry.
No. I was going to say, what was it? For me personally, I find it really, really weird who the fuck exactly is the master, because now it seems like they're giving like an explanation of like, hey, you might, or at least it's bringing up the themes of like, hey, is it better to forget the trauma of your past and move on without remembering, or should you remember that traumatic past and face it? And it also brings up how like it can affect you more or less, like how the man in the painting basically brought up and said like, the who boy, you a lot of those shit were heart-wrenching, awful, terrible. And he went like, essentially, well, what if that was you? You'd be like, fuck, that's awful, way worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're clearly bringing up those themes and setting it up. I don't know if it will be like, oh, all of the like Jacopo, Mel, fucking the Beast are all like somehow connected, which I don't think is the thing. But it's something like that, you know? It's like something about like, could you really face yourself? And I guess like maybe towards the end of each story they do kind of hint at that, maybe. It feels like. In terms of that, that's pretty much it. I can't even really say that much because there's not a lot of information I can gather, other than maybe I guess there's a chance that the picture talking was an hallucination, or this really is all fucking magic stuffo. But that's my piece. Oh shit.
Right. Reboot.
Okay, so everyone else here basically took my own words out of my mouth, basically, but I do have one thing to point out.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that in all of our doors that we've gone through so far, the main, like, villain or bad guy has pronounced canines. Is that some kind of symbolism?
Canines are.
It might be just a aesthetic choice.
It symbolizes how much I want to fuck.
I hate to inform you, Reboot, but did you know you also have canines?
Yeah, but not that pronounced.
They were pronounced.
Not to the point that they look like actual fangs.
Artistic license.
Artistic license.
Well, I'm
So-
working on it. Okay. I mean, yeah, artistic license.
It's like having colored eyebrows.
But yeah, that's my observation.
Well, I do have a question for you, sir.
Yeah, and I have
What
an
do you,
answer for you.
what do you think is gonna go on in our next door?
I don't know, but I don't know, but I did notice the years and 1099. So what the fuck? That even was the year that I noticed.
That is
What was the
correct.
year again?
Oh, so we're in the medieval ages. Love it.
1099.
You love to see
Anyhow,
it.
all right.
Anyways, that's all for me.
Next is renders.
I've got quite a bit to say.
All right.
Okay, first of all, this story was not nearly as harsh as the other ones. Like, wow. I was expecting it to be like rising intensity of tragedies, but this one was sad, but not as overtly full of suffering as the other ones, which was kind of melancholic rather. No like specific hyper traumatic event for anyone. So yeah, not great, but not nearly as bad as Mel's or Bestia. Actually, the man in the painting like talked about how he's sorry for the painting and didn't mean for this to happen, which made me think maybe he's the painter of the first painting that Nelly and Maria stumbled upon. But there's not much to it other than that. Because like according to the history we heard of the painting, that painter also lived the house at one point. So that could be the case. And he also mentions like difference between someone that was summoned and someone that's seeking stuff on their own. Someone who was summoned appears to be like the masters of the house, like someone called by the maid, like Bestia, once to a degree. Where someone seeking on their own appears to like talk about like the white-haired girls that keep like finding their way to the house on their own. He was also the first person like from like beyond the door to direct, not exactly a door, but like a pseudo door to directly interact with you. When you were in the fireplace, you appear to like dream of like what could like the what is probably the maid talks about like the first time she started walking her to the person she's talking to, which makes me think it might be Michelle. Rather likely is Michelle. So that's like, and you're like experiencing his memories, but like not through a door, but just by yourself. So like also like the souls or like shadows of the previous masters also appear to like be bound to the house in some way, like their memories and stuff. So that could also connect to that. For the library, I'm thinking about maybe like you misinterpreted what you're supposed to do, and the books were wanted you to read them or look at them or something rather than put them back in. There was no shadow of Michelle in the stained window, which there was for all the other areas but the places you've seen, which also makes me wonder if maybe you yourself are Michelle's shadow in the same way you encountered the other ones.
Wait, Shadow Michelle? Did I miss something?
No, like, because, like, you ran into, like, the shadow of Bestia and the shadow of Jacopo and the shadow of Mel, and their memories.
Oh, okay.
But you didn't run into the shadow of Michelle in the stained glass window, which is what he's associated with. I'm wondering if the maid's ultimate goal is to have you say her name or like remind her or something when like this is like, and making you remember stuff is a means to that end. Also wondering like there was a thing about like whether it's better to remember and forget, and you have like the maid to like. So I think the memories in the master bedroom was the maid's, which is a bit unusual because up until now it's been the masters of the house. So, and it was talked about like how the difference between wanting to remember or whether it's better to forget. And the maid, like, going by that, the maid chose to forget by throwing the key to the master bedroom away. So the man talking in the entrance, I'm wondering if it's connected to Mel's dream, because nothing for that was really elaborated to connect it to. And I think in his dream there was also like a tower mentioned, but I can't quite remember.
Oh,
Also,
remember what?
like in Mel's dream, I vaguely remember they talked about the tower, but I'm not 100% sure they did. Or maybe like the background was a tower or something like that. The witch was earliest mentioned in Michelle's mirror, so I wonder if 1099 is Michelle's time. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I've That's all I've got to say.
So then, who's up next?
Them.
Them. All right. What's up, dude?
Interested about the stuff scrawled into the floor of the cellar. More connective tissue. Seems to imply some sort of bloodline curse for some reason. It's interesting that we're running all the way back to 1099 when we've only been going forward so far. So maybe we'll be seeing like the origin point of all this. Curious about what's gonna happen after this door. Either this door is really long, or you all lied about how long Fata Morgana is.
I mean, there could be stuff after this door too. There was
That's
just
what
an
I'm
extended.
assuming.
There was an extended thing in Dimension just now.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. There's gonna be like post-door stuff.
I just meant there's gonna be post Fata Morgana stuff.
Yeah, I guess the 7th layer, whatever it was.
Yeah, these are side story, like complete just side stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always thought there were 8 doors. There's only 4.
Why do you think there were 8? Did they say anything like that? I actually don't remember.
I just assumed there were 8 because that's how like the last 2 stories were structured. There were like 8 acts.
Yeah, but this isn't.
Like, I'm not used to doing visual novels, so I don't know if that's common or not.
This isn't Ryukishi though.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just his thing?
I think so. I don't know. Like, I don't think Sakone is that long.
Sakone is only going to be 4 parts
Yeah,
whenever we get
Wait, is
that.
it?
Less about Ryukishi though, more about Fata.
It's something else I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, I'm still curious about Michael. Michael.
Michelle.
Whatever his name was.
Michelle.
Michelle, yeah.
That guy.
Guy who's definitely not a stand-in for Michael the Archangel.
Definitely not. Don't be silly.
I clapped when Maria got shot in the head. I was very excited.
Same.
The bullet hole was not large enough.
Oh, my girl boss.
I know.
No.
It was a very good death, very emotionally satisfying.
When I died, you will realize.
Like there was like some weird undertones. So like, why didn't you like? No, some kinda, not exactly, but Maria was upset that like he didn't. Like I feel like if it were up to Maria, and she would have been like the Campo Familia, whatever, like the leader, she would have taken like Jacopo as a husband. Maybe she's upset he didn't do the same. Try to left her to be a maid. Wondering if something like that was going on.
No, I think at that point she just had revenge because her grandpa.
I mean, there's also that. There's also directly that. But I feel like
gonna explode.
I think it's both. I think it's both.
Can I have a thought onto this specific thought as well?
Sure.
A part of me was shocked that like something like that wasn't like brought up explicitly, but because a part of me does kind of feel like that might be a case.
I'm sorry, for what?
The whole Maria secretly or possibly having had feelings for Jacobo before before she came back and revisited him.
We will neither confirm nor deny things.
I know.
I'll leave you to your own conclusions on that. Any other thoughts, Sim?
Not really.
Okay. And last but not least, Crimson.
Yeah, everything about that third door was the equivalency of, we should have talked earlier. Shit got bad. Although Maria deserved the bullet shot through the head. also, I kind of believe that the mansion, the mansion in between the doors, is like a metaphorical concept of the afterlife, and this is sort of like a reparcelation of the spirit, whoever we are, the master, trying to remember what we're going through, and all the other spirits are just bound to this metaphorical afterlife mansion because they're stuck in their past of regrets, because of the curse that's sprung upon them because of whatever Michelle alludes to. And what's ever happening in the year 1099 is probably either the beginning point of the curse or could be something else that's entirely going to happen. Also, I think the whole dream that the first guy had was probably going to be was the prelude to this story because around this time, witch belief was kind of high, especially the burning of the witch.
Okay. Well, if that's you got anything else?
I think that's pretty much it, but yeah, these stories are pretty much interesting.
Okay.
Oh, there was one other thing I just remembered.
Hmm?
The scrawling on the the floor mentions that the masters of the house are all sinful, which is interesting because it also implies it's like a bloodline thing. But the maid also says that the house, I don't know. Like it doesn't feel like the masters are related in any sense other than the fact that they own the house.
Or connected to the white hair girl by coincidence, by the curse. Because she's always in the story, either as a love interest or sort of a love interest.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And there's always been like a secondary female character that's either been screwed over or purposely screwing over the story.
Pauline didn't do
Remember,
anything like
yeah,
that.
like Mel kind of went nuts
Yeah, but
because
like there was Nellie and Maria, but Pauline didn't do anything like that.
Yeah, Pauline
yeah,
just showed up.
yeah, that was more of him just going nuts and just killing her afterwards.
No one is happy with this.
No one is, not even Millhouse.
Well, if that is everything,
Then I guess we'll be wrapping up for tonight. Thank you all very much for coming. We're going to go ahead and cut the stream now.
we'll be seeing you for the exciting conclusion.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye bye.
The bullet hole was not large enough.
Ah.